Hello collectors and welcome to Skit TCG. In this episode, we're going to go over the vintage fakes and how to tell the difference. There's a lot out there, especially when I was a kid going through your personal binder and you find all these fakes from back then. Those are still in circulation and it's good to find those to see the differences. I have these two Dark Charizards. I recently bought this one from an auction. I got it at a pretty good deal and now I see why. The pictures were tough to read just because the holo was faked pretty good. So I'm going to go over the different things that you can kind of look for. The first thing is very noticeable. It's the vintage holo. You notice in the real one, this one right here, it's very layered. It has multiple layers of the holo with all the different shapes and everything. I even have a little swirl in the super top hand corner there. Very nice. But it also doesn't go over the Charizard itself. You can kind of tell that it's like a cutout. And if you look at the fake one, it is just a flat holo, and the holo shapes are copied onto the card to give it that look. So when I was looking at the pictures, it did look pretty nice because the holo and the shapes were there, but now that it's in hand, it looks terrible. So the holo is a big giveaway on this one, but sometimes they can fake the holos. Another big one was the first edition stamp. It's a little gray. It's kind of hard to see on camera. So I brought in my Dark Hypno first edition to kind of show you the difference. So you can kind of see it looks a little different. It looks thinner. It's a little bit more like washed out. So that's another sign that it could be a fake. Speaking of colors, just because their prints aren't as clean, you notice that the colors in the actual card itself, like in the body of the text, are not as dark, a little bit more washed out as well. And on the back, I should have seen this. This is completely my fault. The colors are completely different. This one has more of like a green tint to the entire card, as well as being very glossy, which is something that we wouldn't be able to tell from the pictures. But the light hits it just a little differently because this is almost like a plastic feel on the entire thing. I would do the rip test to show you, however, I will be sending this back to the seller for a full refund. They treated me really well on that. The auction said sold as is, but when I messaged them, they're like, I want to make everything right, so send it back and we'll get you fixed up. So thank goodness for that. Huge appreciation. It's hard to find good sellers nowadays. Some people just want to take the money and run, but luckily not them. Another giveaway was the energies. Kind of stack them up like that. Don't cringe. So if you'll see the energies, some of them don't really have like a strong outline, but on the real card they do have an outline. Much more defined within the energies, as well as the top ones. You'll notice that the real one has a really nice solid red circle. But this guy really doesn't. It's all washed up in the center. Embarrassing, but I definitely wanted to make this video to show you how you can tell vintage apart. I'm definitely going to put this back in his sleeve, though. He deserves this. He doesn't deserve to stay out long. There we go. Clean. So yep, and I brought him in. This is another vintage holo. Has all of the different layers. I love the eyes in the background. All the outlines. First edition stamp is good. It's a blue, not a green color. Another thing I wanted to show you is how to tell modern, especially the Grails, apart. In my hand, I was scammed for, oh, how much was it? It was such an odd scam. I bought the Epstein VMAX, and they gave me this. And at first I was like, he messed up, this is amazing, I'm up. However, then I realized I looked at the actual card itself and it's 95 and the card is 215. So immediately I got suspicious, but I already rated them on Mercari, so they would not help. Be careful on Mercari. Look everything over very extensively before you rate them, because after that they won't help you at all. Something in this card is the texture. In new Grails, the texture is one of the easiest ways to tell if your card is a fake. They're extremely hard to replicate. I probably should break this, but I don't know if you can see that. So if you'll notice that the background is just like a weird sparkly, there's no real like actual lines. And in the Umbreon, there is some lines. You can kind of see them up in like this area. I'm just going to smack the camera real fast. Yeah, you can see it in the ears as well. The holo on this card specifically, it starts around the moon and it moves out in like a radial pattern. If you ever are buying a Grail or looking for that card that you want in your PC, you want to make sure that you study those small details, because that is what's going to tell you whether or not what you're actually looking at is a fake. I didn't do my due diligence, but now I will, thank goodness. So I won't be fooled from now on, and I'm trying to do the same for you. So this is definitely a fake. If you looked at the cert, it was a reseal. And you can also tell from, you can kind of see up here, there's some glue on the top. It's super apparent, all that murky glue right here. That's all fake, reseal. There's even a little cut. Actually, I think that's plastic. I think it's a piece of plastic in there from them resealing it. Way to go, dude. And yep, there's some glue on that side too, glue on this side. This is a real PSA slab. This is a fake PSA slab. Correction. This is a real label, fake PSA slab. So it's good to know the difference. So the biggest thing that I saw, see how big that PSA is? And it's a little bit smaller on the actual one. So they try their best to fake these, but not all of them are very successful. There was also, apparently on the newer ones, if you shine a black light at the PSA logo, there's going to be tiny little PSAs around it, as well as in this area right here. So there's newer ones, this is not a newer one, but if you do have a newer one that just gets back to you, or you're looking at some Grails at like a card show, bring a black light. You'll look goofy, but at least you know that's an actual slab. Hopefully to no offense to the person that you're scanning. So that is how you tell a PSA slab if that's fake, especially the card inside. Luckily, this is a very noticeable card. A lot of people on Reddit and everything like that are pretty skeptical when they find things, so they post really high definition pictures, and I can put one like right there for you to show what the holo is supposed to look like, even if you don't actually have the card, which is insanely helpful. That's how I figured out that this one was fake, which made me cry. And the final thing I want to go over is, careful, is this. How to tell if this is a fake. The biggest thing is the colors. I do not have a fake one, because even those are expensive. But the colors on this are a huge giveaway. If they have like a tint across the whole thing. Another thing is if they don't have a straight cut across, if it's like an actual crimp, like a zigzag, that's a massive giveaway that those are either resealed very badly or a Chinese product. Another thing you want to look at is all these energies. They should be very dark. If they're not dark, then they're probably like a photocopied on, like this plastic stuff. It might be a pain, but you can also read all of this. If there are any misspellings, odd English, then those are probably, correction, those are definitely fakes. I have never seen a misprint Pokepack that's authentic. If you have seen one, let me know in the comments, because that'd be kind of interesting. But this is also a first edition, so that first edition might be a little gray. Flareon might be a little washed out. Another thing to notice is that, I don't know if you can tell, but that's not a straight cut across the top of it. Kind of goes up at the end, but that's completely normal. They weren't perfect in 1999 and 2000 and all that nonsense. So if you do have a pack that looks a little risky on the bottom, just know that these odd cuts are completely normal. This is an authentic pack. I got it from a box break. I have all three arts of the first editions, which is kind of cool. But those are some telltale signs of Your vintage cards, your vintage Grails. This is $700 if it was real, so that's super fun. Then you have your PSA slabs, your Grails. So be careful with the modern stuff. Look at the texture. You definitely want to look at the texture. The card on the back sometimes is a giveaway. This could be like a sticker because the back looks really nice. They even had some damage on it to make sure it didn't get a 10. So, well done. You got me. And then, of course, the packs. All three. You get your vintage, your modern, and your sealed stuff. Be careful out there. There's some bad people, and they want to take your money and give you nothing for it. Luckily, I have my buddy little Pikachu here. My little Pika tree. Pika plant. I think I like Pika plant. I think that's going to be it. Pika plant will be in my videos from now on, so make sure that you like it, comment, subscribe to Pika plant to see what he's up to. He's going to help me out looking at this. Let's see if he can make it so I never do that again. There you go. Analyze that. With that being said, that is how you can spot those fakes pretty easily. Before I go, one huge thing. I don't have the card, but if you look at these, this is a different fake. Most older fakes, they had a weird printing error, and all of the energies are way too big for their circle. So this normal energy, all the points of the star would almost reach the end of their respective circle. The inside graphic would just be too large. So that's another huge giveaway. It's not on this one because this one looks like a photocopy fake, which is clever. It's definitely a harder one to see if it's not a holo, because they can't replicate the holos if they do that. So yeah, definitely take a look at the energies. If they look odd compared to another card, it is fake. Don't trust it. There are no like energy errors, especially not in that fashion in Pokemon. So be careful out there. We got a fake. Ugh, gross, stinky. But you know, that's part of the game. Educating yourself, educating others. That's what we're here to do. But with that being said, thank you so much for joining me. Make sure if you find any other different ways to tell if they're fakes, put them in the comments. Help the people that also click on this video. We got Pika Plant. He's watching you. He will find you if you sell fakes, and he will zap you with his cuteness. He's so derpy and adorable. I got this from my brother, so mad shout out to him. Anyways, thank you so much for joining. Make sure and like, comment, subscribe. I'm already at 10 subscribers and I posted one video. I know some of that is some bleed through from my Skitcraft gaming channel. Also check that out if you're interested. So I greatly appreciate those people as well. But I'm trying to make a good community on this channel to not interfere with my horror gaming community over there. So do all that fun stuff. My name is Skit. This is how to tell a fake in hopefully every era in Pokemon. And you are amazing. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.